Welcome to episode 328 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, a.k.a. the Wrestling Nomad, today on this very special Halloween edition. To my left, you may know him as the head football coach of West Virginia University. His name is Dana Holgerson. He's got a Red Bull. He's got a headset. He's got a visor, a custom visor.
Yeah, custom.
His name is also Stephen Kyle Brackey. And to my right, the fake Wrestling Nomad, Daniel Roy Lobdell Jr., And yes, this is an authentic Wrestling Nomad Halloween costume. I have a Baltimore hat. I don't know if this is the Baltimore County Orioles or the Baltimore City Orioles. Regardless, it is Maryland. I have the flowing Nomad locks, which don't do his hair any justice, but I'm doing my best. I have the classic Nomad chin hair, a quarter zip, and what you can't see is I've got classic Nomad khakis, the black Asics shoes with dress socks, and I come with accessories as well. If you're not watching the video, you're really playing yourself. I've got the toothbrush and toothpaste because Nomad brings this everywhere. Mm-hmm. He just always has toothbrush and toothpaste at the ready. He brings it to work. He doesn't care. And when we first met this little guy, he walked around with his phone with the charger plugged in all the time because basically he had a not portable phone. He had to have it plugged in at all times. So this is an homage, and the American pop socket thing on the back of the phone. So, very excited to be the rest of the
How do you think he did, Nomad?
I'm just worried that he's going to get lice from that 1970s wig he's got on.
I bought it yesterday. It's clean. It's funny, though. There was so much hair on it. My wife had to give the wig a hair. It took like 30 minutes to get it. Otherwise, the hat wouldn't fit on top of it.
Your wife gave the wig a haircut?
Yeah, while I was wearing it. It was an interesting night. The things we do for love, guys. Okay. Enough, Willie. Would you drop it? Can you focus on wrestling for once?
It's a great Orioles hat, by the way.
It is great. I bought Willie a hat like this because he asked for it and he never wore it. So
That's fake news. I've worn it several times.
Has anyone ever seen Willie wear that hat?
Classic Yankees fan wearing an Orioles hat.
No one's ever seen you wear it.
One sec.
Willie's got to go take care of the dogs.
He literally has the Yankee stuff behind,
No,
if you're watching the video.
It says
Yes.
Final X and it's Marines.
Oh, dang it.
Nice try. Nomad. Oh, snap! Now he's Wrestling Nomad too. Willie just put on the same hat. That's awesome.
Big hat guys.
You just made my day, Willie. All right.
Brother, fits perfectly.
So here's what happened. A whole heck of a lot. Super 32 in the books. Maybe the toughest Super 32 ever. It had, and maybe we'll get to Super 32 in a little bit, but we'll talk about the Plot Kennedy match. I won't say the one time, but the match absolutely delivered. It was the best potential final of Super 32. Both guys made it, and not only was it a great match, it was, you came away super impressed with both guys. But we'll talk about that later. We got to put a bow on the World Championships, and kind of looked like we were going to finish on a major down because Greco, but Adam Kuhn to the rescue, kind of had a little something, right? Made it happen, pins his way to the finals, and ends up silver to Semenov, who must be an absolute monster because he bombed Kuhn twice in ways physics had ruled out completely, that being possible. They're like, no, you can't do it. We've run the numbers. We tried it. He even ran the own numbers at Michigan during his aerospace, nautical, whatever major. They said, I can't be thrown like this. And this guy said, I will throw you. And he threw him twice.
That's what everybody was saying on Twitter. They're like, Kuhn uses his aerospace brain to figure out the maximum angle at which to launch people, which got him to the finals. But apparently, Semenov also, cosmonaut Semenov, sent him in orbit.
His own math came up and bit him. But Adam Kuhn makes the finals, so that's good. But other than that, 9 other Greco competitors with a combined 2 wins, we think?
They went 3 and 9.
3 and 9. Okay, so which means most of our guys lost to a guy that didn't make the finals.
Correct.
So a down performance, not a down. It's kind of, you could kind of sort of say
this is what's been
this
happening.
Is what's been happening with Greco. So the biggest news, or I guess the thing that people were talking about, was the Jesse Dilky interview, where he pulled no punches. Now, to be fair, this is not new for Dilky to, say what's on his mind, right? That's nothing new. But He said he was extremely critical of the training. He said training was awful. He was critical that they had been training with their competitors. I don't know if we have the clip. If we do, yeah, let's play the Jesse Dilky interview, some of it.
How was the training leading up this summer and training camps?
We've been here for 25 days, so awful.
This could be bad radio, so I don't know. We'll just talk over it.
For maybe a
So
week
Dilky is like,
camp, but we were here for
training
2
was
weeks
terrible.
with an intensive camp with 10 plus teams.
Well, he said,
and
you know,
guys that we compete against every
what do
single
you,
day.
how was training? And he said, well, we were
Not
here
the
for
greatest
25
idea in the
days.
world, in my opinion.
Yeah. So he's critical of how long they were there. He's critical that they were training with their competitors. He was critical that they focused on strength and conditioning and not wrestling. And basically, it's like shots fired after shots fired at Matt Lindland, the head coach of USA Greco. And I would have loved to hear Lindland's response to it. No one really asked him about it. In 2 interviews I heard, no one was like, hey, Dilky said this. How do you respond to that? Would have loved if someone had. I think that's a question Lindland should have to answer.
What would you do?
And especially given their results. And here's the
Something he probably wants to answer, too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Lindland's very candid. So that happens. And really, I don't know. The one guy that's on the Greco scene that makes the team is kind of the one guy that's not at all in the USA Greco system. He wrestled folk style this year. He tried to make both world teams. He's not at Northern Michigan. He's not at the OTC. He's just he made the team. So
he's not committed to wrestling Greco full time. You heard him in the interview. He, I think, still wants to wrestle both.
Yeah. So it's like. Even though it's a medal and it's the first time we made a final since 2009, which is amazing, it's like I don't know if Lindland can really attach himself to that victory as much as if someone like I don't know, Ellis Kamal, yeah, someone that's there under his purview more.
Yeah, even at Super 32, there were a great number of people that would come up to me. Not a great number, but several people came up, and I'm sure they came up to Nomad too, and they said, what do you think about the Greco performance? What do you think about, is there going to be a coaching change there? What are they going to do? What can they change? And some people would say, do you think that the Kuhn thing helped, maybe, stop some changes or like calm some people down about the bad performance? I don't know how much you can take credit for the Kuhn thing, right?
Yeah, that's my point. It's like, well, it's good. I mean, it's better than him going 0-1, right? But at the same time, it's like, man, he's the antithesis of the thing you preach, which is like a Greco focus and come to the OTC or go to Northern Michigan, right? It's like this is not the path that Lindland has laid out for Greco success, and the guy that's outside that path is the only guy that's getting a medal. So problematic, and I think if there's, I don't know if there's even a consideration for a coaching change. I have no idea. I don't know how much a coaching change fixes the Greco problem in America.
I don't know either. But what I do know is that if this was a pro franchise, it would be heavily discussed because you have Dilky saying that he doesn't like the training, and you've had Lindland in the past say that there's questionable culture.
I think the word you just used there, culture, is potentially very appropriate. I don't think there's a good culture within Greco. Right?
I don't think there is either.
I
think a lot of these guys, and they'll probably come at me, but I think a lot of them are immature.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that, but I remember last year especially, a lot of excuses after losses, blaming refs, blaming this, blaming that, and Dilky, his candor is appreciated and potentially necessary. Yet at the same time, and he owned like, hey, I didn't do enough to lose or to win. Like he kind of owned that, but it's all there's also some accountability on it. And the question that should have been asked of Jesse is this. Did you specifically address your issues with Coach Lindland, with the coaching staff? That needed asked because that's the most important thing. Because if Jesse Dilky is raising his hand frequently and saying, hey, why are we doing this? Why is this happening? Why? And Lindland's saying, train hard, do strength and condition, do what I say. Okay. But if he's sitting on this and he's just kind of holding back, and I don't think that Jesse probably does, because as I've mentioned, he's a candid guy. Yeah. But we don't know the answer. So if he just sits on this, he's like, all right, I'm going nuclear now that it's over. That would be not accountable on his part. And that's like, I just believe in owning the solution, right? Don't say, well, he's the coach, we got to do what he says, even if I think it's stupid. You as the athlete, it's within your purview to make the choices that you think are necessary and challenge the coaches if you think they're not setting you up to win. So yeah, and so that's a question I would love to have answered.
One of the things.
So that was Greco.
That was Greco.
One of the things. So it's always touchy when you're like talking about should there be a change in coaching, right? Because then you're asking about another man's job, right? But some of the things that are kind of stick out to me. Half this team had junior world medals, and
half.
Yes.
Whoa.
Dilky, Dilky, Ellis Coleman, Kamal Bay, Jangelo Hancock, Adam Kuhn.
Yep.
So there has been success at the age level, and there has been success the last 3 years at the Junior World Championships. So you can say that there are things happening in the pipeline at the developmental age level that are not being carried over to the senior level at the world level.
Yeah.
They've had success going overseas and having tournaments during the season, which is something and is valuable and points to there being some level of increased competency there, and especially when a guy like Hancock pins Alex Sanyon during the year. Again, did that matter at the World Championships? Absolutely not, but that was a big moment for Greco this year. But when half the team wins junior world medal and then only one of those guys can go on and do it at the senior level, that's a little concerning.
Yeah, but no, Matt. Yeah, I agree with you. Yes, that's concerning. What is also concerning, is that it wasn't just that it was only Kuhn that went on and did something. It was that nobody won a freaking match.
Yes. Many of them went 0-1.
We can't even win matches.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And the only person that did win matches was a guy that doesn't even train it.
And with that, about the match-winning thing, so the few matches I was able to see before I left Super 32, something that American Greco fans complain about a lot is that when we go overseas, Americans get put down first. And the matches that I saw, we were getting guys put down first. We were taking the lead, not just on the passive point, but then getting guts and scoring on top and then still losing. So that's a tactical conditioning thing. So that was really concerning. I mean, it was good to see that first part, but then bad to see the losing the lead.
We did score points, I mean, if I don't know if that's like kissing your sister. Like, we scored points in losses, but at least we scored points.
Well, it's certainly better than not, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So that's Greco. I don't know if there's going to be any changes. I have no inclination if that's going to happen, but certainly not the performance, and especially, USA or men's freestyle second, women's third. It sticks out by comparison now, whereas a couple of years ago it was like, well, we kind of weren't really good at any of them. Now we're really good at two. Women's freestyle the most consistent. We're on the podium basically the last 5 or so years. I think I saw.
Yeah, the last 6 years we've been top 3.
Yeah, phenomenal. So they're doing outstanding. So yeah, that's Greco. Greco is done. Worlds is done. We had the most world medals ever for Team USA across all 3 styles. So that's very good. Okay, next topic. Let's get to some Super 32. There's a lot of matches. There's a lot of finals, so we're going to have to stay somewhat high level here. But I think you have to start with 170 pounds, Dustin Plott versus Patrick Kennedy. Fire match, 16-12 final. Plott comes out early, 2 takedowns, no problem. It looks like this could get ugly. And you see Kennedy get a reversal at the end of the first. It kind of said, all right, wait, hold on. This is going to be a match.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, Chris. And I thought, whoa,
clean.
This is.
I mean, it's clean.
And it wasn't just the way that it wasn't just that he took him down twice. It was the ease in which he took him down.
Yep.
And that that reversal at the end of the first period kind of, I don't know, was kind of, it wasn't really indicative of what was going on, kind of.
Right.
But then Kennedy fought back. I mean, it was really a close match. I think it might have been tied in the third period.
I'll tell you.
Both looked a little tired at points.
Both did look a little tired. And Kennedy usually owns the third period, so I thought he was going to, come back and steal it. But I think the thing to take away with this is just impressed by both guys.
Yeah, very impressive performance from both. And, it delivered, as we said. We hyped it up, and ended up being an awesome match. And probably one we won't see in college. As you can see, Plot's really tall. He could be up at 74, 84 before it's all done. And Kennedy's at probably 65. 65 pounder.
Told that Kennedy will wrestle 74 kilograms next year at juniors.
Yeah.
So, that's 163, and Plot probably 84 in college. But it's always great when you have, an Okie State recruit and an Iowa recruit, and they're both ranked top 5, and you're excited for it, and then they put up that many points and look impressive. Christian, I thought it was crazy how clean Plot's shots were and his finishes.
Yeah, I mean, Nomad has his little conversion things. I mean, he gets the leg, his finish. He just has a great angle. By the time he gets in, there's no sprawling. Shoulders in tight. There's nowhere for him to go. And, man, that's one thing that bodes particularly well for him moving forward, the ease in which he finishes. It's not that it's actually, we're crediting the finish, but it's actually it's his penetration.
Yeah.
It's not the finish. It's the technique on the shot that means you don't really have to finish because you're in so deep.
Precisely. So, yeah, that's always going to translate well. Excited to see what he becomes in the future. Kind of been a revelation since, I guess at Vegas, he turned some heads. He messed up Caleb Romero. That's when he got on. I'm always a little later to the high school guys because I'm more D1 focused, but that was like a revelation to me, and then had an eye on him ever since. And kind of puts Karchla in perspective a little bit, too.
Karchla went 10-0 over him at Fargo. That was Plot's only loss.
Right.
What other finals? Who impressed you, Christian? You guys
absolutely, without question, mind blown how good Dylan D'Amelio is. I mean, I had no idea. And he's been someone that's been on my radar for a while because he made a cadet world team. What was it, 3 years ago now? And he was 5th, and I was like, okay, this guy, I kind of had a nice draw. He's a little scrapper. He's a tough dude. He is legit. He's going to be a good D1 wrestler. I think he wrestles really hard. I think he's smart. He's good in all 3 positions. I think, man, you got to be excited. When he committed to the Buckeyes, it's like, okay, yeah, sure. We'll see it when he gets in the lineup. Now I'm like, this guy's definitely going to be a key starter for them. And, seeing him handle Bo Bartley, he handled him. He went after him the whole time. Frequent shot. He's a little quicker to the leg than I remember.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel you just have to be so excited if you're a Dylan D'Amelio fan or a Ohio State fan.
Yeah, he's always been a guy. When he was at 106, he was ranked pretty high. He might have been first at some point, but then as he started growing, he was always a guy that was 7th or 8th.
Yeah. And
he was a good, solid wrestler that wasn't too flashy, just good fundamentals.
Exactly.
And he goes to. He commits to Ohio State, and I'm like, dang. D'Amelio is probably a starter at 75 of the 77 programs, but I don't know how he's going to get in that lineup. And then he kind of transformed himself. He jumped levels, and now it's like, okay, he's going to get in somehow, and he's going to be a force.
Yeah, he's going to be tough. I don't know if he's NCAA champion, but I'm certain he can be earn All-American status and be a good starter for the Buckeyes moving forward. If he's a 32 now, hypothesize he's going to hold that. If he gets up into the 41, that's when it maybe gets a little dicey. When you've got Decatur's going to be in the mix, you got Quinn Kinner, but these things always have a way of working themselves out. And the guys that work hard and are focused, Dylan D'Amelia's a 4.0 kid. It's going to work out.
He's a great kid from a great family.
Yeah. So
you know he's going to stay the course.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what can you say about Richie Figs? Richard Figueroa is like, you know what? Why don't I go 13? I mean, I just like his mentality. I love that he's seeking out the challenges. I love that, I didn't know if he could beat Greg, but he runs through the tournament, gets there, 5-4, needed a late score. And where I felt like, and I think you guys mentioned on the broadcast, kind of felt like Greg was just kind of hanging on doing I don't want to say gaming it, but playing more of the chess match than the go get the next point, put it away. And one mistake and Figueroa capitalized on it.
Yeah, and definitely in that situation, he was kind of. I mean, I thought he was playing it smart. He just made a mistake by, Richie capitalized on his leg being there, on his ankle sticking out. But, Richie said that it wasn't until like the Thursday or the Friday morning of weigh-in that he decided, let's just go 113 for the challenge. And I thought, I thought he could beat Greg. I wouldn't have picked it. I would probably pick Greg. But it's even more of a challenge that he went through the whole bracket, right? Like wrestling up a weight, there's always, while you could beat the best guy there's always the gauntlet you got to run through to get there against bigger guys. And so it was true. It was really impressive.
He wasn't really challenged by anyone up until the finals, and he wrestled some really good guys. And again, the cross pick, like seeing the creativity, the Richie Figs was a very, very good freshman last year. And then he came to Akron, and we saw that the kid can teleport to legs at will and is really creative on top and in scrambles. And now he has jumped to him and Facundo are like clearly the two best kids in that class of 2021. Mm-hmm. And you win Akron and you win Super 32 in the same year, and in between that you get a Cadet World medal, and you bump up a weight to do it and wrestle a guy who just looked awesome at who's number one. Yeah, Richie Figs is going to be problems, and I hope he stays up at 113 actually for the whole year.
Jacob Decatur was the Ironman champ. Greg Diakomahalis was
number
the
one.
Akron runner-up, or the Akron third at the next highest weight up. So he's beating good kids, and he's beating good kids at two weights. I'll tell you who I was impressed with. And this is the biggest surprise to me of the whole tournament. Was Lukas Bird.
Yeah.
In the same vein as D'Amelio, good wrestler, 7 or 8 in the country. Okay, good wrestler. Maryland got a good guy. I thought he looked elite. I thought he looked like a 125 pounder in college. That's
really good weight too.
He was another one that so his dad talks to us a lot of tournaments, and I love when dads have the perspective of thank you for picking against me, not in the sense of being a jerk, but like it really woke Lukas up, and he said he was having problems with the weight or not eating right, and then all of a sudden it was weight's right, focus, doing the right things, and you saw the optimized version of Bird, and even the guy he wrestled in the finals, Latona also kind of showed a version of himself that we'd never seen before. So those two guys, you get them jumping up, and I've been very critical of this 2019 class a whole lot, but looking at how they did at Super 32, it's they're clearly coming into their own and showing things that we either had never seen before out of them or are seeing for the first time.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
there's two of them. We just talked about 3 seniors that jumped levels.
All right. There's a high school stalling catastrophe looming, according to the doc, and based on the video that Willie showed, it is potentially true. But there is a very easy course to avoid this meteor on a collision course for Earth. And we don't have to send Bruce Willis or Ben Affleck into space to solve this problem. No, you don't. It doesn't have to come to that, because Bruce ultimately gave his life for the sake of the world. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, because all you need to do Do this in college, do this in high school, put in the step out. You solve everything with a step out. It's all you need to fix all these problems, all the subjectivity of allowing the guy back in bounds when the only reason he's out of bounds is because he backed up there. So you're creating a scoring opportunity, high school wrestling refs and D1 refs. You're creating a scoring opportunity by allowing a guy to back up to the edge, and then if the guy doesn't give him a written invitation to get back to the center of the mat that he just avoided, I'm getting penalized for that. It makes no sense. It's against everything that the sport is supposed to represent and value. And the fact that this is getting written into the rules, and not just NCAA now, but also high school, is so backwards.
We already saw this. Right?
Yeah.
And I honestly didn't know that they put it in the high school rules.
I didn't
they
either.
Put it in the high school rules this year. And we already saw college do this, and it's already a disaster. And me and Christian already had a show on this where we, told you it was going to be a disaster. And at the college level, it's not a disaster, but it is completely inconsistent. They put ambiguous rules in. I mean, they even came out with a video that contradicted itself on the edge stalling. Yeah. Is this guy stalling? Is that guy stalling? Is the guy who shoots you out stalling? Is the guy who circles out stalling? You don't know. And the refs don't know. And so I saw this. Caitlin, can you play the clip of
the stalling? Anderson stalling.
Stalling, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, push out.
Push out. And so I saw this, and people thought I was like talking about the match itself, but I'm talking about what this might symbolize.
Where's Cam Amin going right now? Look, he backed straight out of bounds. He backed straight out.
Right?
What's Anderson to do there?
I'm talking about what that might symbolize for this season if they're going to call it that way.
Iron Man's going to be interesting.
Okay, so that ref, he works at HSCA. His name's Dino. He's a head ref at a lot of tournaments. Great guy. You could almost see the mechanizations going through, okay, this is how they told us the new rule's going to work. And I get that he's thinking these things through, but that's not stalling in any sense of the word. Not on red.
On red. Certainly not.
I can tell you that the quarterfinal mat that I had, especially, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 matches, stalling completely shifted the cadence of the match, and sometimes in the third period, late in the third period.
Which is fine. It can do that, but it needs to be for the right things. It needs to be for inactivity on the part of one guy.
Now, in that particular match, right, Anderson had the only takedown. He's moving forward.
I don't know how you hit him there.
And so they put new language in the rule book that pushing or pulling out of bounds.
So
I don't know how going into somebody, isn't it at the same time? Isn't it the Blues means job to circle back in?
Yeah, and that's where it gets stupid. That's where it's like you're like, anytime you have to prove intent, literally someone's thought process, you're screwing yourself. Okay, it needs to be black and white. Okay, whether a guy's trying to circle in, how do you know if he's trying to circle back in? How do you know? How do you know I'm not letting him in? You cannot.
Yes.
You don't know the forces. What is being exerted? And
I am upset more with, and people will say that, I'm just ragging on officials. I'm not even ragging on the officials. Dino is a good ref. It is obvious that they're putting in these rules that are too hard for them to, they're putting in black and white. They're putting in black and white that this should be stalling. And then they're having a meeting before the tournament that says it should be emphasized. Hey, you got to start calling this.
Yeah.
Well, it's ambiguous and it's stupid.
Well, and to me, when the solution is so simple and black and white in our faces, and that folk-style leadership just doesn't want to get on board and solve all these problems. They're going to solve so many problems with this. if they just get on board with a step out. And I don't know if you want to make a step out a straight point, if you want to make it an automatic stall warning, I don't really care about that. But the edge can be black and white in that way. I don't know why they're avoiding it. They can solve a lot of problems and avoid this kind of ambiguity and these kind of Ryan Anderson stall calls, which are just egregious. So get it together. It's simple. NCAA leadership, do it. High school leadership, do it. It's going to be the best thing for the sport. It's going to help fans understand better. It's going to help out help out the officials. For once, make a rule set. I mean, freestyle is tough enough to officiate, but at least they have that in there that help them out. Help them out in folk style.
Why 10, 12, 15 years ago did everybody know what stalling was, and referees called stalling on top and referees called stalling on their feet, and you knew what it was, and everybody in the stands would go like this, and then it would get called. And now 15, 20 years later, it's like, I don't know what stalling is. The ref don't know what stalling is. Nobody wants to call stalling.
All right. So, yeah, we fixed stalling. We just need people to listen more to us, and then we'll be good to go.
I want to make just one final point on Super 32. Really good to see girls bracket grew by 33%, and there was a pretty big upset, or not upset, but Amanda Walker beat a girl named Alexis Cepeda who moonwalked through the toughest bracket in Fargo. So good on Super 32 that they're doing that, and also sounds like NHSCA is doing a girls division this year.
Oh wow!
I think I heard that correctly. If not, don't hold me to it.
Don't hold me to it.
But
don't register.
Good there, and like Willie said, lots of good matches to go back and pour through.
It's great to have actual wrestling to talk about, right?
Amen. And
speaking
of wrestling, college season. We haven't even talked about college. What are we doing, guys? I'm supposed to be the host of the show. We go 32 minutes without college. That's a dang coaching mistake. All right. It is the kickoff weekend, but it actually starts Thursday. Buffalo at Wisconsin, Northern Colorado at West Virginia. I will be there in Madtown. McDonough, Reeder, Bono, get ready. Coming. Two scrappy teams. I mean, Buffalo, Stutzman's guys always go hard. We'll see what Wisconsin looks like. We don't know yet. This will be our first look at that lineup, first look at Tristan Moran. We'll see the Wick brothers, etc. Should be a solid team. And then Northern Colorado at West Virginia.
Dana, are you going to the match?
Started the Tim Flynn era.
I'm not. I wish I was. I got to be here in Austin for the game this weekend.
That's right. West Virginia's at Texas.
That's right.
Oh, snap. Is Texas back? Okay. Then we've got some opens as well. Clarion, Cowboy, and Daktronics. And Michigan. Is Michigan State this week?
I don't know if we have it.
I don't know if we have
I
it.
also thought it was next week.
It is this week, but it's up in the air.
It's up in the air, but it'll still happen. The wrestling matches still count.
What do you mean? It's up in the air.
Well, it's happening. It's just like, is it live on Flow?
Oh, gotcha.
So for Cowboy, there's an Aaron Brooks note.
John Brooks said Aaron will be competing at Cowboy Open.
Well, daggone. That's great.
And usually John doesn't say those things without them being true. So I'm going to believe he's wrestling the Cowboy Open this weekend, which is great.
Until he doesn't win the Cowboy Open, I think he's in the Cowboy Open. Daktronics, Gable Stevenson, Minnesota,
Nebraska.
Seth Gross. And what does that mean for
Gross
Lezak? Oh, no, he's at the All-Star.
Yeah.
Daggone, double dang. People asked about some of the weights for All-Star, like Gross, Tariq. What does that mean? I know that Gross is just at 41 because the way the certification, you're only allowed to be a certain weight by a certain time. So he'll be 33 this year.
I think NC State literally tweeted that they would both actually be weighing in at like 34.2 or something.
Oh.
Like it's literally a certification. It's 100% a certification thing.
They should just call it. They should call this 133 and just put a little asterisk.
Yeah.
Or they should call the weight 133.4 if that's the weight they have to make.
Plus 2, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So that's actually be a pretty fire match because it certainly was. And then we're gonna also learn. Actually, I think I know, but Nick Siriano's weight.
We'll know for sure.
We'll know for sure.
Yeah.
But I think Nick's going 33 definitely this weekend. In my opinion, he wrestled off at that weight. I think ultimately that's the weight he's going to go. You never know. You can't rule anything out.
Anthony Ashnault?
Oh yeah, Schnalte's debut. So they've got a quad. They've got 3 duels, I guess.
Yeah.
Only one D1 team, I
Yeah.
think.
Centenary, Johnson and Wales, Fresno State.
Fresno.
Fresno's wrestle-offs were packed. I don't know if you guys saw videos of them.
It did.
They
look
were
crazy.
stuffed in there.
That's great. They love wrestling.
Yeah.
In the Valley.
For wrestle-offs, good on you.
Okay, so and then we're gonna have Nomad, not me. The fake Nomad is going to Maryland for the Ohio State Navy duel, which is live
You
on
should have just
FloWrestling.
stayed up here, though, man.
Yeah.
What day?
well,
What day is Ohio State Navy?
Saturday, the 3rd.
Oh
And
man.
your flight out Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta catch up with
Alright.
some old friends.
Yes.
Oh, good.
So yeah, Ohio State Navy. What I'm really looking forward to about that is every year Tom Ryan and a couple coaches do this, but Tom Ryan's been really good after the last few years of sending one of their top guys, one of their senior leaders. This duel is at Miles Martin's old high school at the McDonough School, and I've got a pretty good relationship with his high school coaches, so I'm hoping to kind of talk to them and get some stuff of Miles in his old high school room, and hoping for a good turnout because it's actually kind of a little bit of a drive for Navy from Annapolis to Owings Mills. So, but should be a good match, and we'll get our first look at Ohio State, get our first look at Navy, and yeah I'll be there.
Well, we're glad of that. So exciting opening weekend for college wrestling. Much of it live on FloWrestling.org.
Northwestern at North Dakota State on Sunday, along with Dak.
It's a lot to keep up with, actually. We're gonna have to have your head on a swivel there, Bradkey.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be exciting. So I don't know what the top matchups. We'll get more to that maybe Thursday. What potential bouts we're most excited about, but it's gonna be some great stuff. Want to get to some questions from friends?
Sure.
Okay. Well, first of all, this is more not so much a question as a please forgive us, Brad Cravens, because we basically said there's no way that Kyle Dake said he was 3 kilograms under at the world, and he definitely did. He definitely said I'm 3 kilograms under. Now that's with the 2 kilogram allowance, but that's what he said. So apologies to Brad Cravens. We knew it was probably Brad's a smart guy. We knew it was probably legit, but just didn't really make sense.
We hadn't heard it. Number one, we hadn't heard it, and number two, that's amazing. It's hard to wrap your head around.
Given,
we're talking kilograms, not pounds.
Yeah.
He was 7 under.
7 under, like who?
7 under, like.
But this isn't a problem we have to come up with too much. So yes, he is right, and he said this is impressive on his part and leaves the option to win Worlds next year and not have that big of a cut for 2020. You're right about that, Brad, but I just think the chess move for Dake is to come down in 2019. I think you can't let Burroughs sit out at the Olympic trials. You have 2 shots to make it so that Burroughs doesn't sit out at the Olympic, or you have 1 shot basically.
And you know what else?
Tell me.
Kyle Dake, Kyle Dake is on this thing. When he got injured, and he had a moment where he was like, I am doing everything that I can to make it the most absolute, positively best case scenario for me, including wearing UV glasses, including walking barefoot in the grass, including a filter on his phone, including functional patterns. He's going to want the best scenario, which includes seeding for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Guys.
That would be the pattern that I see.
Book your flights now. U.S. Open is April 25th to the 27th. Burroughs versus Dake. Once again, just like 2017. Or set your alarm if you want to watch live on Flow.
Will you pick against him? Will you pick against the King?
I'm still pissed off about that because I totally let you guys talk me into that because this is exactly what happened. Hold on, real quick. This is exactly what happened. For literally years, I was like, Kyle Dake will never beat Jordan Burroughs. I don't know why anyone assumes it's going to happen. Jordan Burroughs is the greatest American wrestler basically since John Smith. And every time I would ask guys in the office, I was like, why are you so excited about this match? Kyle Dake is going to lose once again. And they're like, because he can win. And then I was like, okay, I guess he can. And then the World Cup happened, and Jordan Burroughs said something about, I might not be as good as I once was. And I'm like, crap. He doesn't think he's as good as he once was. And then he won. And I was like, why did I do this? I never pick against Burroughs. I'm so angry.
He's still as good once as he ever was, first of all.
He is, but I literally let you guys who didn't even pick him influence me. It was so freaking stupid.
It's shots fired at your own resolve more than anything.
Yeah.
You should not be so easily influenced.
What do you
Mentally
stick
weak.
to your guns, no, man?
Yeah, stick to your guns.
So annoying.
So, why are you annoyed at us? You're annoyed at yourself.
Because you guys, you were like, you made it sound like you were gonna pick him, and then you're like, "Pfft, yeah, Burroughs.
What do
And
you
I'm like,
what do you care who we're gonna
I
pick?
mind tricked you.
Just pick who. Just pick who you think's
follower.
gonna win. Yeah. Dude? I would be embarrassed to actually say that.
Yeah.
All right.
so stupid. Knew Burroughs was gonna win. I picked freaking
Here we
Dake.
go. Oh, now he was right after all. Whatever.
And then he took a picture with Burroughs afterwards.
Drinking
Drinking
champagne.
champagne.
Not Burroughs,
was great.
of course. All right, here we go. Will Iowa State be a top 20 team this year? I don't know, man.
No.
Depends if no, top 20 is it's not as high. It's possible.
2
If
All-Americans.
Mikolas and if Carr goes and
Yeah.
Mikolas,
Well, yeah, and winning a couple matches, you know.
Austin
how good
Gomez?
Ian Parker gonna be? How good's Rudy? Not Rudy. Austin Gomez gonna be?
dude,
Well, yeah, I guess I'm thinking. I don't know
They
if
can
they'll
be
show
a
up in the
top 20
rankings.
team.
absolutely.
20 ain't tough.
Yeah, it's like 2 AAs. Gwiz won NCAAs. That was like literally the only points, and they were like top 20.
Very
Not
true.
that they're gonna have a champ, but if you have 2 guys that get 5th, that's like a champ.
Fifth.
McKenna or Brock, I think is a tough matchup for my
Who
guy
asked
Cade Brock. RES.
ECT.
He has a not safe for work or not safe for FloWrestling. Twitter
Is
handle.
boner is boner a bad word?
Shut up, dude. All right, McKenna or Brock? This is a good question. It's the only reason I put it in there. Now I'm gonna start. If you start saying the bad names, I'm gonna edit those out, Willie.
I love this matchup.
I think you're gonna
I
be
don't know why I'm
you're
so
gonna be
pumped.
disappointed. I think you're gonna be disappointed. McKenna's just gonna shut it down, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I think. I don't think Cade's gonna get a whiff. I think it's gonna be a
You're probably right.
3-2, 2-1. I think McKenna could ride him. And I'm Mr. Cade Brock. I'm the captain of the Cade Brock ship. However, I know him too well, and I think it's a really hard matchup for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go McKenna because he's so sound, and he can score. I don't know. What is it about Cade Brock? Is it the aesthetics? Is it the way he moves and his? I just love watching him.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do too.
That's 100% what it is. He when Cade Brock is doing Cade Brock things, it's one of the most fun things to watch in college wrestling. But Joey McKenna is better and has been better and probably will always be better.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm taking McKenna, but here's another reason why I'm interested in the match. Not just because I like watching Cade Brock wrestle, but because I have always been of the opinion that Cade was cutting too much weight at 33, and when he eventually goes up to 41, he's gonna feel a whole lot better and gonna do a whole lot better. And I don't know if it will occur in this match. McKenna's a tough matchup, but I'm excited for Cade Brock's year at 41.
All right.
Is that the best match on the card?
Yes. Well, Gross Wilson. Gross Wilson will be better than that.
It was NCAA's.
Yeah, it was fire. Okay. Pops Redfoot. Does Ohio State spend too much time in the weight room? Absolutely not. They
No,
just
Pop.
they
What would you rather them be doing?
well, yeah. And here's the thing. No, they didn't beat Penn State. They probably had one of the top 6 or 7 greatest NCAA wrestling teams of all time last year. Like, they're doing really, really good. They're just going head up with a dynasty. No, they don't lift too many weights.
Well, that gets back to when we had the Burroughs discussion after Worlds. Like, when you see someone get second that you're not used to seeing at second, or in Ohio State's case when like they've been second and third a few years in a row, you're like, what's wrong with them? And it's like, I don't know. They're getting second and third and scoring 130 points. Is there really anything wrong with them?
Yeah, it's like.
Well, I don't even know what it means, though.
Well,
so
I feel like
a team gets second at NCAAs coming into a season when you predicted them to get second, and I think it's a stupid.
Well, I think Snyder is what prompted this because he's a prolific weightlifter. However, I'm pretty sure he does not. He did his own strength training thing all through. He's always kind of done. I read that. It's actually in Dennis's article. I'm pretty sure, Willie, that I forget what that was.
His own.
Yeah, he does. He's kind of done his own thing in the weight room, anyways. But yeah, weights are clearly an emphasis at Ohio State, but it doesn't have any negative impact.
Doesn't hurt their wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's hurting their wrestling,
imagine if they stopped lifting. You know what they should do? Stop lifting.
Like
Coach Ryan.
The whole time that Kyle Snyder was there, first, third, second.
Yeah.
What?
Let's poke. Okay. He was just asking a question. Yeah. Don't come down on Pops Redfoot. Respect your elders. He might be older than us. His name's Pops Redfoot, so he's probably old. Why does the All-Star Classic have so few NCAA men's matches? Is it dying? I don't know. I don't think it's dying, but it's definitely strange that there's only like 5 or 6 D1 matches.
I gotta think it's coaches. They don't want to do.
Yeah, and they're athletes as well. Okay. How high could Richie Figs be in the pound for pound? Assuming he's going to make an appearance in it this week, he better.
If I get him done, I mean, I got pound for pound done already.
Yeah, the answer is
doing all 14 other weights is the issue, and getting them out this week. But I have Figs at 14.
Okay. He's last place pound for pound. Interesting.
The thing that happens with this is Super 32 was loaded, but when you look at pound for pound, there was 5 or 6 of them there. Yeah. No, there's some of them there.
I mean, 0 at 113.
Yeah.
Okay, assuming Zahid goes 86 for 2020, who you got between him and Taylor? DT. Even though Zahid has wrestled him tough before and actually had the lead on him 2 or 3 summers ago, but then David Taylor does what he does, came on crazy at the end, and I think he kind of blew him out.
When Taylor smashed him in Midlands, that was top.
Yeah.
But every time they've wrestled either folk or free, Zahid has been very, very, very close to him in neutral.
Yeah. And since that loss, Zahid really he jumped levels for sure. So that's definitely a thing, but it's really tough after seeing what David just did. Anything other than that. Okay.
But yeah, Zahid's definitely amazing.
Top 3 guys, asks Manny Paulus. Top 3 guys over the last 10 years who are surprising NCAA champs. Maybe going to the tournament, you thought they were 5 or 6, but they came out and won the bracket. Number 1 is Miles Martin for probably ever, the rest of our lives. Number 2 is maybe Mach 5.
Yeah.
Probably Machiavello.
I think Mach over Miles, and maybe I'm biased because I knew Miles when he was younger. Like, I really thought Miles Martin was going to win an NCAA title when he was in high school. I just didn't think it was going to be as a true freshman.
Dude, he was the 14 seed.
That's what I understand that, but in context of his whole career, I think Mach was way more surprising.
No, I mean,
Miles Martin was a blue chip. Machiavello was not.
Well, yeah, it's not.
But you got to take it in the context of the results of the season. Going into the bracket, right? Conferences get over. You start saying, "Oh, here's my picks to win it. This guy's going to place this. This guy's going to take this." Miles Martin was not supposed to win that tournament.
Bottom line, going into NCAAs, the day before NCAA starts in Cleveland this year, and the day before NCAA started in Madison Square Garden that year, you would have given a much higher probability for Michael Machiavello to win NCAAs than Miles Martin going into that tournament the day before it started. Now, who's the third?
Darian?
Cruz, yeah. I would say Cruz was pretty random.
No one was picking Darian to win that bracket.
Definitely no one picked him. Last 10 years, I mean, Jared King, is he still in that window? Because he definitely was random. And
so he was the 1 seed, but he gets kind of forgotten a lot. Hudeshelt.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just kind of like a post haste. We don't think about how often he won.
Surtis had some rough moments and he won.
No, who the show was like? He was like a top 3 guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was one seed
He was
going
the 1
in.
seed.
Just I feel like we
What
don't talk about it a lot.
Gillespie?
I feel like he was a top 6 seed. Was that 2007 Nomad or 2008 with Gillespie?
I'm still going back here. Good question.
He's looking. He didn't look at it.
Top 10 years or last 10 years always. Quentin Wright was the 9 seed when he won in 2011.
Yeah, but at that one of those years, it was like, yeah, but he'll win it.
No.
Or, yeah, he'll make the finals.
Not that year. But except for me, I've always believed in Quentin.
So
he was on my fantasy team, and I rode for him.
Oh yeah, it's King. He was 12 seed.
He was a 12.
And that goes back to the last 10 years goes back to 2009. So it's Drug King.
Yeah.
And there you have it.
And there it is. Okay.
No. Derek Moore.
Yeah. Oh,
He was undefeated.
He was?
Yeah, he was undefeated.
What seed was he?
That was also like 2006.
And he was
What?
he was the 1 or 2 seed for sure. 2006 NCAA wrestling. I'll look it up. I think it was actually 7, but we'll look at 6. It's probably.
I thought there was a Cali guy.
again, the Derek Moore is like a career thing. He had never placed before and then went in and smashed up.
Let's see. All right, I got the 2007, and we'll move on. We'll stop being derailed here. That was
All
at
right.
141, right? He was the 2 seed, and he tech followed the 1 seed.
Smashed.
So he was pretty good. So good that they dropped the program after that. Thanks, guys. All right. What are your guilty pleasure wrestling moves? Asks Brock Desert at Successful Rant, the most avid inquisitor.
Guilty
Let's
pleasure
start
wrestling.
Yeah, a
moves.
move. It's like it's trash, but you use it. That's how I'm defining it. What would here someone go? Come on, Kyle.
Are we talking about what we like or what we used to use?
What you used to use. Like it's kind of trash, but you're good at it and it works.
No, I headlocked people all the time.
Oh, really? Like a head and arm?
No, like they would shoot, and I would 3/4 Nelson, push their head down, and they'd get they try to get their head up, and then they get their head up, and I smack them.
Oh, like crossface throw kind of thing. That's what we called it. All right, that's a good one.
I just shot singles and either I scored
Seemed like
after
a big
45
switch guy to
seconds.
me.
Mr.
Oh,
Fundamental.
well, yeah, I use the switch all the time, but that's.
Did you ever do
that's
like
a
the
normal
crawling
move.
switch where you like kind of get some forward momentum,
Oh,
then do
yeah.
a quick boom?
Standing switch. Probably done standing switch is beautiful because the kid's nose bounces off the mat.
Standing Petersons are great. I love a spladle. Works on high school kids like every now and again. Just leave the leg out there. What was Kyle's? Mr. Fundamental.
Trying to think.
You had something.
I don't know.
Come on, dude. All right, this is whack.
I'll think.
No, it's too late. Forget it. Justin Jones, did Miles Amin immigrate to the Russian Federation and take the name Sidakov? And there's a picture, and they look a lot alike. And Justin, the answer is yes. And Miles,
The actual one's Cooperman.
Where's this picture?
oh yeah, it's Cooperman. It's in Twitter.
Oh yeah, he looks like Cooperman.
Yeah. Okay. So Corey Cooperman. Either way, Team USA won 74 after all.
Corey literally texted me like the day he got to Budapest and said, I locked eyes with Sidakov. He wouldn't look away because he saw himself. Like, I don't know, I've always thought Sidakov looked like Coop, but yeah, he kind of looks like a little bit.
Are you friends with him on Russian Facebook?
Yeah, we talk all the time.
Nomad had Russian Facebook before he had real Facebook,
Yeah, it's good for
That's
following.
accurate.
It's good for following wrestling.
which is the ultimate
I
Nomad
think
move.
my favorite part about working here is that no one knows Nomad's real name.
Literally last week, and she works here. It doesn't matter what her name is. She's like, she asked who did this article? I want to ask him a question about it, like something with the formatting. I don't know, something on that end. And I was like, that would be Nomad. And she's like, there's a little pause. She's like, what's his real name? No one knows his real name. Nick Shank, Kyle's boss, didn't know his real name.
No.
A lot of people don't know his real name.
One of the Bogarts didn't know his real name.
Oh yeah, Kyle Bogart. I said it to him, and
Nobody knows who Kyle Bogart is, guys.
All right,
Two
We're just
enormous
coming up
brothers.
with people
We'll
in the
Google
office
it.
that don't know Nomad's name. We're
Yeah.
just using it as an example.
And he's worked here, what, 2 years and change now?
Yeah.
Wow.
They just know him as Nomad. Everybody.
Nomad. So, yeah.
Wow, Willie really ruined that.
He's kind of a ruiner, deep down. All right. It's 8:55. We could have 5 minutes of free time. It's a little outside time. Anything else before we go? Any other questions I missed that you were excited about? Oh, any thought to doing a weekly video segment that sends Nomad to Carver, Hawkeye to cheer for the visiting team? I think this is great content.
I do too.
Especially for Lehigh, because he's kind of his dad went to Lehigh. He's a Lehigh guy.
It's the equivalent of like sending him out there with a piece of raw meat around his neck in the woods.
I think
They're just going to attack him.
that's a great content opportunity. It'll be a little pricey because it's not that cheap to get to Cedar Rapids Airport, but
I'd also ask
it'd
for
be
a
worth it.
Carver ice cream voucher.
You need a voucher. Well, I'm your connect on all things voucher.
Correct.
So
Oh, you don't get the voucher. You're cheering for the other team.
yeah, you don't know. Bring your own ice cream, and then security's gonna bust you.
BYOIC.
Yeah. No, so that's a pretty dang good idea. All
Oh, did you want to talk about the thing Lemon Pie emailed us?
I don't know what. Yes.
Did you not read it?
No, I didn't read it, but if it's good, I'm
Will-
trying.
Who put it in here?
Willie, did you read it?
Yeah.
Was that
I
it?
mean, here's the thing.
Oh,
It's not complicated. Wrestling does a horrible job of keeping stats.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how to solve it because basically the way you solve it is each team needs a statistician that is reporting to some larger database. There could be some really cool stuff you could do with data in terms of what moves are scoring, when guys are scoring, blah, blah, blah. But we don't have any of it. and it's
As an
unfortunate.
example, and I know this is like NBA versus college wrestling, but Kirk Goldsberry, the guy who does these insane stat articles for ESPN, wrote an article 2 weeks ago, and it was called "Every Shot LeBron Has Ever Taken in the NBA," and it was exactly where it was on the court, and broken down by all quarters, and if like there was like tenderness, and just like everything you could ask for. And it's like,
No.
yeah, I bet
Yeah.
if
Every shot, he needs therapy.
yeah, it says thousands of shots, and it's like, of course, if we had motion data on things, like, yeah, if we could catalog every time that Jason Nolf took a lefty single, if we could catalog every time that, what was Nato's shooting percentage when he didn't take a high crotch, like, yeah, that would be amazing, but, man, wrestling
I don't
is
even want
so
to go
not
that
close
deep.
right
I mean,
now.
that's great if you guys do. If you think that's valuable, I just want. How many takedowns did the guy score? How many escapes? How many reversals? How many falls? I want reporting for everybody. I want to do fantasy.
I
wrestling.
mean,
that would be much easier.
to his point, it would be pretty cool. I mean, we'd know every NFL or college quarterback's pass completion percentage. It would be nice to know, like, percentage of shots guys are converting on.
That's why people are asking me when I put that like plot thing out last night. They're like, "How did you do that?" I said I'd watch the match, scrub through till there was a shot, rewind it, pause until like identify the time of shot, identify the time of takedown. But that's a lot of man hours. You have to do that and that's why it's like basically I only do it for tournaments or like specific big matches. And in that case, he had 6 takedowns, so it was kind of justified. But it's like you have to sit there and do it. We need a FloWrestling stats information department.
Yeah, we need like 10 people. Okay. Good job today, boys.
Good job by you.
Happy Tuesday.
So I won't be here on Thursday.
Dude, all right, so I was just thinking about that. I'm gonna be in Madison. We may need to do some sort of I don't know, Kyle. You might have to hold it down. Maybe I call in from Madison with Willie. Maybe Bono stops by. I don't know. I haven't even thought about it yet. We may have to problem solve. So
What if we just run the Lyle Style show?
I'll host it.
y'all need to get on the Lyle Style show. It's a great show. I hope you guys
Another
listen.
deep one.
So many deep ones.
My
David
brother
Bray
was
knows
on
what we're
last
talking
time. Y'all know how that went.
about.
Go to YouTube and search a Lyle Style show.
You will never. You know what? We're gonna hurt our own business, but it's worth it because you won't want to watch FRL after you watch the Lyle Style show. So please watch it. The man with the most style. Caitlin, we are good to go if you want to play the outro music.
Play us out. What does that mean?
Play us out. What does that mean? What does that mean, play us out? We'll do it live. We did Flow Wrestling Radio Live. We want to thank ASICS for their support of Flow Wrestling Radio Live.
I want to thank Christian for this Christmas present.
You're welcome, buddy. Anything for you. I'm glad to see you wear it. You had it right there ready to go. Still looks as good as the day I gave it to you. That Christmas morning.
3 nomads, all in one spot.
3 nomads. Wow.
One's not ready.
It's definitely not. Happy Halloween. Be careful. If you have an 8-year-old that happens to like candy, I went back and re-listened to that segment where Willie is like incredulous about kids liking Halloween anymore. It was more audacious than anything you've ever said.
I don't. All right, they like candy. I never got into it. I mean, you can purchase candy other places.
Yes. All right. I can't even go there.
My kids ain't going.
Kids
they want
can't.
Candy,
You don't
I
have
ain't walking
kids.
outside in the cold. They look stupid in costumes.
All right. We're out. Thanks, ASICS. We'll see you next time. Maybe Thursday, maybe not. We'll all find out together. Later.